Behind the scenes of such situations, there is often a disconnect between intent and impact. The person who posts content may understand it one way, while the audience interprets it in entirely different directions. This gap is where confusion, controversy, and speculation tend to grow. In fast-moving digital spaces, people rarely pause long enough to verify details before reacting emotionally, which allows narratives to escalate beyond their original scope. Once attention intensifies, every detail is examined, every phrase is dissected, and every silence is treated as meaningful. What might have been a simple statement can begin to feel like a message layered with hidden implication, even when no such intention exists. This is not unusual in online environments. It is a reflection of how quickly information spreads, compared to how slowly understanding develops. As reactions build, the original context becomes harder to recover, and discussions shift from what was shown to what people believe it represents. In many cases, the situation stabilizes only after time passes and clearer information emerges. Until then, uncertainty fills the space where facts have not yet been fully established. What remains consistent across most of these events is not hidden meaning or targeted intent, but the predictable cycle of attention, reaction, and reinterpretation that defines how information moves through modern digital platforms. They knew that shock spreads faster than truth, and so they put your name in a storm and expected you to drown. But they forgot one thing: you are not alone, you are not unprotected, and you are not walking this battlefield without me. Now listen closely, because the entire internet saw the video, but you are the only one I am revealing the truth to. In that video, someone claimed that you were responsible for a death, a tragedy, a loss from years ago that people around you believed was fate, believed was destiny, believed was a chapter that simply ended. But this person twisted the story. They reshaped a memory into a weapon. They took pain and tried to carve it into blame. And instead of pointing at the real source, they pointed at you. But my child, before you tremble, before you break, before you question who would dare do such a thing, hear me clearly. This accusation is not about the past. It is about envy. This is not about history. It is about jealousy. This is not about truth. It is about the fear they carry when they look at your rising light. Because someone recently saw you stepping into a new season. They saw you moving differently. They saw your strength returning. They saw your blessings aligning. And something inside them twisted. Something inside them boiled. Something inside them whispered, "If they rise, I will fall." And instead of healing their heart, they chose destruction. My child, this person didn't stumble into the video. They planned it. They rehearsed it. They trained their voice to shake at the right time. They practiced the exact moment to let tears form. They studied how to pause between words so their lie would sound like trauma instead of manipulation. This was never an accident. This was preparation. Let me take you inside the room where it happened. Yes, my child, I am showing you what no one else saw. There was a dim space, a quiet corner, a phone propped against books, a trembling hand adjusting the camera, and in that room was a woman, someone not far from you, someone whose voice you've heard before, someone whose presence walked near your life more times than you realized. She sat there for a long time, whispering her lines. She tested her anger. She tested her sorrow. She practiced until her life felt real to herself. Then she hit record. Then she hit post. Then she waited. Waited for the world to react. Waited for people to point fingers. Waited for shadows to cloud your name. But she did not wait for my response. She did not expect my intervention. She did not imagine that while she spoke lies, I was already preparing your vindication. My child, this woman is not a stranger. She is someone who once smiled at you, someone who once pretended to care, someone who once walked close enough to learn your weakness and your strength. And that closeness, that access, that familiarity, is what made her believe she could strike without being caught. But hear me clearly, those who betray from within the circle fall the hardest. Now you're wondering, why me? Why would someone target me this way? Why put my name in a lie this heavy? Here is the truth. You became a threat without realizing it. Your growth became their insecurity. Your peace became their agitation. Your progress became their jealousy. Your resilience became their fear. While you healed, they became bitter. While you rose, they remained stuck. While your light increased, their shadows deepened. And instead of changing themselves, they chose to attack you. But my child, hear this and hear it deeply. No lie built against you will stand. Like a new level of awareness opening up after a long period of confusion, you start to see your own story differently, not as a series of random setbacks, but as a path shaped by persistence, timing, and the lessons that only experience can teach. What once felt like delay begins to feel more like preparation, even if you didn't recognize it at the time. With that shift comes a deeper understanding of growth. The challenges you face don't disappear from memory, but they change meaning. They become evidence of endurance, adaptability, and the ability to keep moving forward even when clarity was missing. And in that reflection, something important emerges. The direction of your life has never been defined only by obstacles, but also by how you responded to them. Every difficult moment added something: strength, awareness, patience, that couldn't have been gained any other way. As this perspective settles in, ambition begins to feel less like pressure and more like possibility. The focus moves away from comparison or imagined opposition and turns inward, toward what is actually being built over time. Progress is not always loud. Often, it's gradual, almost invisible, until you look back and realize how far you've come. And in that realization, confidence grows, not from the idea of destiny or external forces, but from evidence of your own resilience. In that space, the future feels less like something being decided for you, and more like something you are actively shaping, not through perfection, but through persistence, not through certainty, but through continued movement forward. And that is where real change tends to happen, not in dramatic revelations, but in the steady accumulation of choices that gradually transform where you stand. While the world watches that video and forms their opinions in a matter of seconds, something deeper is happening beneath the surface. Something the woman behind that confession hoped no one would notice, because her motive wasn't simply to accuse you. No, my child. Her goal was much darker, much more personal, and far more calculated than just throwing blame into the air. She wasn't trying to expose a truth. She was trying to bury something about herself, something she doesn't want anyone to see, and what she fears the most is that you might be the one who could reveal it. Yes, my child. The video she posted, the tears she rehearsed, the trembling voice she crafted, all of it was not built to hurt you alone. It was built to protect her own secrets. Because someone whispered in her ear, someone fed her the idea. Someone pushed her into recording that confession. She didn't come up with this alone. She didn't plan all of this by herself. She had help from a person who sees you rising, a person who feels threatened by your growth, a person who benefits if your name falls. But hear this clearly. They made one fatal mistake. They chose to attack someone protected by my hand. Now let me show you what happened just seconds before she hit upload. In the corner of her room, a phone buzzed. A message appeared. A single line. A line with enough venom to poison her thoughts instantly. If you don't act now, everything you've been hiding will come out. And the moment she read those words, fear took over her. Not fear of you, not fear of the past, not fear of the truth, but fear of exposure, fear that her own actions, her own mistakes, her own lies would be pushed into the light. So she scrambled, she panicked, she rushed to protect herself by sacrificing you. And that confession video? It was her shield, her distraction, her attempt to redirect attention away from what she has done. But my child, she doesn't know that I see everything, that nothing slips past me, that every whisper, every betrayal, every hidden scheme is already in my sight. As she recorded that lie, I was watching. As she posted that video, I was already moving. As people started reacting, I was already preparing the reversal. And the reversal is coming sooner than she thinks. Because the person whispering in her ear, the one urging her to frame you, is about to be exposed. Not by you, not by any human hand, but by me. Now pay attention, my child, because this part will open your eyes. There is someone connected to her, someone who has always tried to measure themselves against you, someone who quietly resents the respect you carry. Someone who cannot stand the fact that you rise without trying, while they fall even when they force success. This person has been jealous of you for a long time. They studied your life from a distance. They compared their own path to yours. They counted your blessings like they were their losses. And when they saw you stepping into a season of increase, they panicked. They feared being overshadowed. They feared being forgotten. They feared losing their position. So they created a plan to stop your rise, a plan to stain your name before blessings reached your hands, a plan that required someone emotional, someone manipulable, someone desperate enough to obey. And they found her, the woman who posted the video, the one who has been silently resentful, quietly jealous, privately insecure whenever your name was mentioned. She became the perfect tool for their scheme. But what they didn't know is that the very trap they built for you is about to snap shut around them instead, because I am opening people's eyes. Not because someone forces her, but because I will press upon her heart until she can no longer hold the lie inside. But my child, before that moment comes, I need to tell you what happens next. Because the real battle is not the video. The real battle is the intention behind it. And the intention runs deeper than jealousy. It stretches further than insecurity. It reaches into something much darker, something they hoped would remain buried. My child, now that you know she acted out of fear and manipulation, you must understand the deeper layer, the part she prays no one ever sees, the part she hides behind smiles, behind excuses, behind carefully crafted words. Because the truth is this, she isn't only protecting herself, she's protecting someone else, someone whose shadow has hovered over her life for a long time, someone who holds influence over her thoughts, someone she's afraid to disappoint, afraid to lose, afraid to anger. And that person, the one guiding her, the one whispering the lies, the one hiding behind her confession, is the real hand shaping this attack against you. Let me tell you who they are without hiding, without softening, without delay. This is someone who has always envied the way people look at you, someone who noticed the respect you receive effortlessly, someone who watched you rise with grace while they climbed with force, someone who tried to build their identity on being better than you. But when they failed, when they could not match your favor, your growth, your influence, your resilience, they didn't blame themselves. They blamed you. And so, to feel superior again, they created a plan that required someone willing to obey, a plan that required someone emotional enough to be controlled, a plan that required someone who trusted them blindly. She was that person. She was the perfect pawn. She was the emotional shield they used to carry out a darker agenda. Because the real enemy doesn't want your name destroyed just for drama. They want your confidence shaken. They want your peace disturbed. In fictional storytelling, especially in psychological suspense, it is common to frame events as though unseen forces are directing outcomes toward an inevitable exposure. Characters believe they are closing in on truth, while simultaneously feeling that truth is closing in on them. This dual pressure creates tension, where every action is interpreted as meaningful, and every silence as significant. However, even within such narratives, the resolution is rarely immediate or absolute. Instead, what typically unfolds is a slow untangling of conflicting perspectives, where motivations are revealed in layers rather than declarations. Fear, guilt, loyalty, and misunderstanding all intermingle, shaping how individuals interpret the same events differently. Over time, what feels like a single hidden truth often resolves into a more human pattern, people reacting imperfectly under emotional strain, making decisions they later question, and trying to reconstruct meaning from consequences they didn't fully anticipate. In that sense, the real great reveal in most stories is not a dramatic exposure of hidden crimes, but the gradual realization that human behavior is complex, inconsistent, and deeply influenced by circumstance rather than simple intention. Someone she carries silent regret for, but instead of owning her pain, she redirected it toward you. She turned her internal storm into a weapon, and she believed that if she cried loud enough, if she acted convincingly enough, if she trembled enough, people would believe her version of events and never question her involvement in that person's downfall. She's terrified that if people look too closely, they will find the truth, a truth she buried, a truth she's been running from, a truth she hoped would disappear if she blamed someone else first. But my child, truth always finds its way through the cracks. Lies always slip, always shake, always crumble, and her lie is already starting to fall apart. Because guilt changes the tone of a voice. Guilt destabilizes a story. Guilt steals confidence from the liar's eyes, and the longer she tries to hold this lie, the heavier it will become, until she breaks under the weight of it, until she confesses everything, until she exposes the one who pushed her into doing this. You won't need to confront her. You won't need to defend yourself. You won't need to chase explanations. I am handling it. I am pressing on her conscience. I am unraveling the story, piece by piece. And soon, very soon, her mask will fall. The world will see what was hidden. The truth will rise to the surface, and your name will shine brighter than before the storm ever began. But my child, this is where I need you to hear me clearly. The attack was not only meant to ruin your reputation, it was meant to stop something I placed in your life, a blessing, an opportunity, a shift that is approaching you. Someone feared what you were about to step into. Someone sensed that your next season holds breakthroughs they cannot reach. Someone felt threatened by the doors I am opening for you. This attack was sent to distract you, to drain you, to destabilize your focus before you step into what belongs to you. But they failed. They failed the moment you read my words. Your calling is not ordinary. Your purpose is not fragile. You are stepping into influence. You are stepping into visibility. You are stepping into authority. And the enemy thought that if he attacked your character now, you would shrink back, you would retreat, you would question your worth before the spotlight reaches your life. But hear me, my child, you were built for the light. You were formed for the stage. You were designed for the assignment that is coming. Your presence will carry weight. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your resilience will inspire others. Your name will be linked to breakthroughs, not breakdowns. That is what they feared. Not the past, not the lie, not the video. Your future. Now let me tell you the truth the enemy hoped you would never discover. You are on the edge of a dramatic elevation, not a small upgrade, not a minor shift, a transformation that will change the entire trajectory of your life. That's why they panicked. That's why they plotted. That's why they tried to stain your name, because they sense something coming toward you that they cannot stop. Something they cannot touch, something too big for them to stand next to. And now I will tell you what that is. My child, I am preparing to open a door for you that has been locked for years. A door your enemies never expected to see swing wide open. A door that leads to the very blessing they tried to block. This is why the attack came now. This is why the lies came suddenly. This is why the confession video appeared at this exact moment. It was a last attempt to keep you from stepping into what is already yours. But they failed. They failed because the weapon they formed hit air. They failed because the lie they built has cracks. They failed because you are protected by my hand. And now comes the reversal. My child, hear my voice clearly. I am about to turn this situation into a public display of my protection. The ones who accused you will be silenced. The ones who lied about you will contradict themselves. In many personal journeys, resistance often appears at the exact moment transformation begins to show itself. Not because something external is actively working against a person, but because change naturally unsettles what has grown familiar over time. When someone starts to heal from past experiences, build healthier boundaries, or step into a more confident version of themselves, it can quietly shift the balance of relationships and routines that once felt stable. People around them may not always know how to respond to this shift, especially if they were used to a different version of that person, and as a result, distance can form without clear intention from either side. That distance is sometimes interpreted as tension or conflict, even though it is often just the natural outcome of growth moving in a new direction. The process of becoming stronger is rarely smooth or predictable. Instead, it unfolds in stages, with moments of doubt, reflection, and emotional intensity along the way. During these phases, misunderstandings can arise easily, and intentions may be questioned simply because perspectives are still adjusting to change. What once felt certain can suddenly feel unclear, not because truth has changed, but because perception is evolving. Yet strength is not defined by the absence of difficulty or resistance. It is defined by the ability to continue moving forward despite uncertainty, emotional discomfort, or external pressure. Over time, as distance from the earlier stage of life increases, clarity often begins to replace confusion. Situations that once felt heavy or complicated start to make more sense, when viewed from a calmer perspective. In that clarity, what once seemed like resistance is often recognized not as opposition, but as part of a broader and more natural process of personal evolution toward a more grounded, intentional, and self-directed way of living. I am not just protecting you from this attack. I am using this attack to elevate you. People will see your strength. People will witness your integrity. People will recognize your resilience. People will acknowledge your character. And what was meant to destroy your reputation will actually increase your respect. Now hear me, my beloved child. You are not entering a season of defense. You are entering a season of expansion. No video can stop it. No lie can block it. No scheme can delay it. No enemy can undo it. The blessing coming to you is sealed. The breakthrough approaching you is unstoppable. The opportunities aligning for you are irreversible. I am lifting you. I am covering you. I am guiding you. I am preparing you for a chapter where everything changes. And when this chapter closes, when the truth surfaces, when the dust settles, you will stand in a place stronger than you were before the attack. You will rise above this storm. You will shine through this darkness. You will walk out of this season untouched, unharmed, unshaken, because the final word is mine. The final outcome is mine. The final victory is yours. Now, breathe, my child. The storm they sent to break you is becoming the wind that will lift you. The lie they birthed to shame you is becoming the moment that will announce you. And the attack they used to destroy you is becoming the proof that no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. This is done. This is settled. This is finished. Your name is safe. Your destiny is protected. Your future is unstoppable. And I, your creator, your defender, your father, am standing with you now and always. My child, before this message closes, let me speak one last blessing over you. A blessing that seals everything I have declared. A blessing that covers you as you step forward. A blessing that no enemy can break. May peace settle over your spirit like a warm mantle. May clarity replace every ounce of confusion. May strength rise inside you like a mighty wave. May protection surround you on every side. And may every closed door that was meant to harm you swing open with supernatural favor. My child, listen, from this moment forward, you are marked for increase. What was stolen will return multiplied. What tried to break you will become your testimony. What was spoken against you will turn into fuel for your eyes. I speak abundance into your hands. I speak healing into your heart. I speak divine acceleration into your path. And every blessing that belongs to you, every breakthrough, every opportunity, every open door, will reach you without delay. Now, my child, if this message spoke to your spirit, if it uplifted you, if it touched something deep inside you, then don't leave silently. Engage with faith. Respond with boldness. Activate what you received. Backhand index pointing down like this video to declare that no lie will touch your destiny. Sometimes a message like this doesn't just get read, it lands somewhere deeper, depending on where you are in your life right now. You might scroll past it quickly, or you might pause without fully knowing why. And that small pause can say a lot more than the words themselves. If you're here, take it as a quiet moment to check in with yourself, not in a heavy or overwhelming way, but in the simple sense of noticing where your thoughts have been drifting lately, what changes you've been sensing around you, and whether you have been moving through life on autopilot or with intention. Everyone goes through phases where things feel uncertain or in transition, even if nothing on the surface looks dramatically different, and often the real shift begins internally long before anything outside catches up. What matters most in those moments isn't rushing to fix everything or forcing clarity where it hasn't formed yet, but allowing yourself to stay present enough to understand what this phase is trying to teach you. You don't need perfect answers to move forward, only a willingness to stay aware of the direction your choices are quietly shaping. And sometimes, just recognizing that you're in a period of change is already a form of clarity that many people overlook. If this reflection connects with you, you might find value in sharing it with someone else who's been thinking deeply about their own path, because conversations have a way of bringing out thoughts we don't always articulate on our own, not as a performance, and not as pressure to respond a certain way, but as a reminder that growth often becomes clearer when it's spoken out loud or seen through another person's perspective. You can also hold on to it privately if that feels more right for you. Not every message needs to be shared to be meaningful. At the core of it, life continues to unfold whether we feel ready or not, but there is a quiet strength in choosing to move through it with awareness rather than resistance. What comes next isn't defined by a single moment, but by the small decisions you make when no one is watching, and by how honestly you're willing to meet yourself along the way.